он здесь представлен. Есть документы и академии, и наставнической комиссии, и нота информативная на решение наставнической комиссии, и в том числе документы уже, которые были здесь оформлены через докторскую школу на Университете де Stat, Доме да. Вот. И здесь дальше пошли наши демерсы, ряд мембров. Есть у нас антиплагиат. Антиплагиат 1,2 плагиата. Вот на него есть резолюция. Вот, проверила, работали, потому что после того, как нам дали возможность доработать, мы доработали, у нас было там около 10%, мы изменили, усовершенствовали, довели вот до такого состояния. Ну и дальше здесь у нас пошли рецензии, экстрас решения Консилиум Scientifica в Университете de Stat Moldova и приложена библиотека национале, адъювинца, конфермария библиотека национале, адъювинца библиотека в Университете de Stat Moldova. И последний документ это у нас прочес вербал номер ЛУНу, а у шединцы комиссии де Doctorат. Наше первое заседание, которое прошло до 2008 мая до 2003. И, соответственно, авторефераты и теза. То, что касается рецензий, у нас есть все рецензии всех членов комиссии, комиссии де Doctorат, и есть один документ еще из Израиля, вот, дополнительно прислали нам на автореферат. На мой адрес больше, как секретаря, больше документов не приходило. Замечания, рецензии и так далее. Были подготовлены еще некоторые дополнительные документы по просьбе госпожи Степанова, госпожи Спыну, с тем, чтобы приблизить те материалы, которые были в Института Федерации интернациональной Молдовы, что Академия для Истории Республики Губернии Республики Молдова, мы их доработали и представили. То есть на данный момент документы все в полном составе и в соответствии с теми требованиями, которые предъявляют к нам Консилиум Scientific в Университете de Stat.
Mulțumim mult, domn profesor. Dacă sunt întrebări. Da, vă mulțumesc. Acum, deci, următorul pas, în conformitate cu prevederile regulamentului privind organizarea studiilor superioare de doctorat ciclu 3, aprobat prin hotărârea Guvernului din 2014, regulamentul instituțional privind organizarea și desfășurarea susținerii publice a tezelor de doctorat a Universității de Stat, cuvânt se oferă pretendentul la titlul științific de doctor în științe economice, doamnei LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, care, în conformitate cu procedura operațională de susținere publică a tezei de doctor, în timp de 20-30 de minute, va prezenta principalele rezultate științifice, concluzii, recomandări cuprinse în teza de doctorat. Poftim! Please, go ahead.
Thank you very much. So, hello to all. I would like to present to you the abstract of my Teza on the public defense. I thank the charms of the committee, the academic advisor, my dear Professor CROTENCO, all her committee members, and to my husband, my dear husband, my family, and my mom. My Teza is the competitiveness of education services, international market in Israeli experience in various sectors. The research goals. The competitiveness factor in education service, especially in the higher educations and in the international aspect, are not new to all of you, as well as the science and research works. We currently identify 4 important defense. Competitiveness between institutions and education services in each country. Competitiveness in education services, especially university research institute between countries, using this competitiveness as development factor of developing quality human capital in the country, as an economic developer for exporting human capital to other countries. Another point, important point, in significant connection between economy and education, and between the both of creating external economic relations. The research will seek explain to competitiveness factor in education services in Israel and the international aspects. The required load for creating equitension economical abilities and the economic international connections. The first chapters focus on analyzing theoretical aspects through the presentations of models and theories, term defense, and the researchers' renewed definitions. The model research also included the competitiveness competent in the education services, internationality in education institutions, and essentially of human capital development and the consequence for economy. The European Organization and Excellence Model, EFQM, also analyzed. The second chapter dealt with research methodological process and the research methods and statistic test and the analyzed method of modal theories. The third chapters dealt with analyzing the influences of economical, managerial, and the international relations in the Israeli education services system. This chapter opened by analyzing the mapping of influence of internationality and the competitiveness of training system for human capital, and including examples. Then, the whole competitive environment in the education and the higher education services in Israel analyzed, including the teacher training institutions, and the advantages and the disadvantages of the human capital training models are presented in the Teza. These chapters also included the quantitative research result, which presented the survey questions distributed to 115 teachers in 3 teaching colleges. And the goals was have an authentic and reliable image to satisfactions and the options of new teacher and reducing in competitive factors. The fourth and the last chapter offer improvement for developing internationality and competitiveness in Israeli education services. The chapter presented improvement that built by a coherent and interdisciplinary approach, and that provides strategic, real, and current response to a competitiveness problem of educational services in Israel, emphasizing institutions for teacher training and human capital development in Israel. The research result. The first component explained was the education services budgeting policy in various countries and in terms of training, certificate of human capital, the educational environmental research, teachers and lectures. Here we find a direct relation between the both of each one of the countries removed in the Teza. You see here the right, okay? See? The right is investment, the Germany and the Great Britain on the left. We identify that each one of those countries, the education system is main investment factor of the state budget. Therefore, the higher education is a system attract student and quality, human capital, and the low automatic and economic international relations. And what we happened in Israel? In Israel, we identified the budgeting policy that does not require the institutions to make the special efforts to develop international abilities and or meet the competitiveness between state cares for encourage and higher budgeting of the institution. The table 1, which 3.3, presented true data, the budgeting perception. We may see that institutions with low budget are known for their reputation of internationality and higher competitiveness abilities, like Weizmann, like the Hebrew University, and like the Technion. Would be better to lower the converse the budget? Shouldn't we encourage competitiveness and open the institution to the internationality element to needs economic relations with the countries to survive the pedagogical and the economical? It's a big question. Maybe in our analyzing the options of the competitiveness and the internationality in education services, I find a long-year policy of the governmental system ignoring the needs and the many years trend in other countries. Here in Israel, there is almost no competition higher between the institution, nor between the competing education services in other countries. Maybe the answer is in the presented table. Here you see, on the right and the left, which call 3.7 and 3.6, we see the difference. On the right, when there is investment in the international project, development and marketing, and it increased the number of students, and in the table left, the colleges reducing the project and the budget for making the result as the education's number of students. To get full image at the student options, I have concluded questions research to explain the options of the satisfactions of those who are responsible for decisions and developing the human capital in the future. Therefore, I have addressed 115 students who have responded to quantitative survey questions of 43 questions for the teacher training, which explains different points of view regarding competitiveness and internationality in their education institutions. Graphs 3.11 and 3.13 and 3.14 presented students' options, and the conclusion of the graph for all of them together, it is that there is a real willingness of the student to integrate internationality in the institutions. To open the institution international student and project, to collaborate with them, the institution in other countries, to willingness to work and they have occupations experience in other countries. There is also the desires to study in joint international programs that will move in the international economic relations. Before forming solutions for education services development in the Israel, and they have explained the international models in the world for this purpose. I examine key countries such as Singapore, Finland, Canada, and Moldova, which face similarly to Israel. Here is a Finnish model of human capital development. The model is based on the competitiveness and the options of the educational system, and the other hand, the large-scale international development that emphasize every year. The Phoenician education system has been known for years for quality and works on developing excellence based on the EFQM model. Canada. The next model I present in the Canadian model. I guiding principle in Canadian education policy in the provision of freedom and action and decision. The system stimulate leadership, motivation among the student markets. As you can see, the model is built from three characters that are strategic, key, human capital development, and including current functional secure success and opens to internationality and leading innovations regarding education services. All these lead higher standardizations, competitive, attractive, and opens the international relations. To see output, you can see the graphs on the right that indicate the rising number of the international students, the rising gross product, and the total number of the higher education students in Canada, as you see over there in the right side. The next country I will present is Moldova. The Republic of Moldova is known for coping with issues of human capital development, brain drain, and expansions of education policy, internationality, and competitiveness aspect. The country has recently created economic immigration policy for updating investors and establishment international relations that stride in the state mainly among Western countries according to Moldova 2030 program. As you see, two graphs show the contribution of internationality and competitiveness, and hence the state by increase the number of the international students, which increase every year. It may seem that this is process of the number of students is the vocational training forward also increased. The second graph on the right shows the decreased in the unemployer and the increased the national product. Okay? The research conclusions from a figure finding the some important views. Increase the dimensions of the higher education in Moldova, which is a result of personal turned international student dimensions of academic students. We may observe that the increase of 42 between 2015 and 2017, 14% between 2016 and 2019, and 13.8 between 29 and 2020. This data set is emphasized opening the internationalism channel in the higher education services in Moldova. In effect, it is total 89% increase in the dimensions between 2050 to 2020. The increase is the tertiary education status, as the number of the enrolled students in the encourage the imported data. It's an amazing fact. In a summary, we may observe that of years the Republic of Moldova takes ordinarily static policy to increase their human capital economy abilities in order of address the contiguous brain-drain issue. The Republic also constitutional parliamentary aspect by enacting economic and immigration relations they encourage foreign investment while at the same time developing the education services, emphasizing the development of teaching staff, human capital. My model. The first solution model I propose change overall the approach, the budgeting of the educational institution and the damage of the higher education consequence for focus three main aspects. One, internationality. Two, competitiveness. And three, the development of core pedagogical abilities in the academic institution of compete with academic institutions outside the countries. The private sector, which in the bottom, which will express its options, can be partnered by investing in the institutions, and the contributions of creating international economy relations will also join to this model. The voluntary sector also joined and will care to develop the working relationship with the academic institutions for developing the domestic social project of collective populations and human capital all over the country. A second recommendations, including the sectoral change in the training of human capital development in Israel, especially teaching staff for all education system, emphasizes higher educations. Here we see 6 steps training model. This stage presented the teaching candidate for approach of teaching method, internationality, perceptions of global aspect and relationship, and essentially of understanding economic and approach their integrations into the educational disciplinary. The main solution model is based on the European Excellence model called EF2M, the European Foundation Quality Management. Okay? I lead the several education institutions in Israel here. It is my work, and the model is divided into 9 main competencies. Leadership abilities here. You see? You don't see? Here we see leadership ability, the people who works in the organizations, the policy and the strategy, okay, which is called the approach and the systematic approach in the organization, the partnership and the resources to manage the partnership with the resources, and all this support with key performance, which help them to promote the successful of them. Of course, you see the result. It's a main point in the model to get excellent results for the society, for the people who work in the organ, for the customer, and this is promote the competitiveness of and the internationality of the organizations, and especially to key performance, to improve the key performance of the organization, which lead the organization to be excellent. All these together divided to enablers and the results, and help the organization to be in continuous learning and get excellent results. As you may see, this is a systematic process that improves the work process, result-oriented, organizational leaderships, shaping, perceptual paradigm, changing, grading, and developing the organization and the human capital quality. Implementing such model, which also global recommendations, will open Israel and its education services to a possibility of competitiveness among the education services, developing human capital and national abilities to promote the economy and, of course, the way to establishment the international economic relations. As you see in this slide, here's some projects which apply the Teza ideas regarding the expansion of competitiveness and the internationality integrations, and they mentions the relations with the delegations project and joint various of economic and social issues, and the intentions of developing competitiveness of organization excellence in Israel. Here you see the project in Haifa, which Haifa Municipal, which running for 1 year. Here you see the Tirat Carmel, which ran for 2 years, and for this, which run in this current work years. So in 2023, all the project budgeting by the Ministry of Education in the comparison with economic and the municipal bodies in each territory. The current Teza search has sought to expand the education services in Israel in the aspect of competitiveness and human capital development in international aspect for improving Israel's international economic relations. After a wide methodological process, information analysis and systematic research defined and the economic information analyzed, I would like to conclude that 1. It is necessary to recognize the sort of steps, consequences, the global macroeconomic perceptions and the political, economic, social really in Israel. 2. If the state is interested to develop the human capital abilities, it must take real step. The recognitions in my about innovative, perceptual, and they included 4 principles which have to be presented and expressed as the budgeting of subchapter 4.2. And to implement this idea, I recommend taking interdisciplinary moves and acts, including the government interventions in changing a budgetary policy. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. You finished?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now I will ask our colleagues to address your questions. Poftim membrii comisiei, vă rog acum să adresați întrebări doctorantului. I have one question. It's about European model of education. Which will be your opinion about this European model of education?
Okay.
It's about competitiveness, about all of this, what you said in your dissertation, how is in higher education of European Union. It's a special model.
According to the 16th slide, I spoke about the EFQ model. As you see, it's suitable to any culture of the organizational culture of the higher education, because it's improving the successful of the organization's performance. And as you see, it's divided to enablers and results, and create an environment of continuous learning and continuous improvement. So the model if the organization take the models and implementing the model, they can improving the competitiveness of the education. I can say that I am in Israel implementing the model in several institutions, and I see a lot of successful. And the next year, I get to be the advisor of 163 schools in the Ministry of Education, which I'm planning my model, which is with the FQM model.
Okay, is this your model or European model? Or you elaborate another model which is on the basis of European model?
My model basis on the FQM model.
European model?
Yes.
Yes, I understand. Okay, thank you very much.
În cercetările dumneavoastră ați analizat multe probleme specifice atât statului Israel, altor țări, inclusiv Republica Moldova, dar în ceea ce privește recomandările, ce ați putea recomanda pentru Republica Moldova?
Recomandări despre Moldova.
Ok.
Вот you recommended to Moldova.
Asta doamna profesor Lobanov v-a întrebat, eu îmi cer scuze că nu v-am prezentat.
Da.
Okay.
Which will be your recommendation about the Republic of Moldova?
Okay. First of all, I suggest to explain my recommendations in my model. This is my model, which showing the innovative comparisons between the state needs, the abilities of the higher education, and the business establishment. I believe that I not believe in the research, and I understand that if you can conclude the business establishment in the and take them in the full partner in the higher education environment, they can improve the quality of the human capital on the country, which develop the advanced industry and in the national product. So, and of course, it's developed the economic relations and the internationality. So I think that this is what we can learn from what Moldova need to do. I think it's basic. The most innovations in my Teza, it's that the ability of the state to cause the quality of the human capital, human capital, and with the model, we can improve the approach and the activity of the countries to get the excellent result to Moldova. Okay. To be a competitive country.
Okay, thank you very much. I will continue with these questions. I will ask you. You discussed about European model. Now you said about Moldavian. Is big differences between European and Moldavian?
Yes.
Because we implement European model, beginning with procesul de la Bologna. We have very good relationship with the European Union and in education. But I don't think it's big differences in European model and Moldavian model. Which will be your opinion?
For my opinion, I think that Moldova began to, according to 2030 Moldovan plan, I think that they are in the last year they are developed the competitiveness, the internationality, the students, as you see in the slide. You see here, there is a lot of international students in Moldova. we also we also learn in Moldova. You see, we have in Moldova. I will talk about it.
University of Medicine.
5,172 students, internationality students learn in Moldova. It's a lot of students.
Studies in Moldova.
Yes, yes. In 20
years.
Yes, it's a big change in a small it's a big change for little countries.
Small country.
Small country, and in a very short time. Thank you. Moldova did, but Canada, Finland, Singapore did a lot of change for a long time, for many years, and they're implementing the EFQ model. So Moldova, we can learn from Moldova, because in Israel we are more bigger, P2. We are biggest, more than Moldova in population, and we have half international students.
Okay,
from Moldova. So Moldova, it's run away. We have a room for improvement for Moldova. Okay, in Israel.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I also have a couple of
Professor
questions.
Shishkan will address your question right now.
Yes. First of all, so I have a couple of questions that appeared when I examining your thesis. When I followed your presentation, I come up with an issue that I would like to precise. So please, can you give your final slide?
Yes.
I mean, with thesis recommendation, final one. Final. Before, thank you. That is before, thank you.
The last one before. The last one before the thank you for listening.
It's
האחרון לפני התודות.
That?
No, that one. That's one.
Yeah. You see, when you actually put, if the state of Israel is interested to develop its human capital ability, it must take real steps.
Okay.
To me, it sounds too categorical, because it sounds like Israel hasn't undertaken any steps real.
Oh.
You see, so would you precise, please, this, because it sounds like strange for me.
Okay. You're right.
Especially if taking into account that Israel is on the top as innovative countries, and
we have two
issues. It's for us, and it's as a sample and example to be inspired. You see, from not only European region but also from this region, actually, because we are making Europeanization. Actually regional, but also we integrate a global economy.
Okay, we have
global economy. Israel is one of the countries that we also inspire.
Okay, I explain. For years, Israel doesn't working on competitiveness and internationality. For years, we have two big problems. One of them is the culture. The Israeli culture in the higher educations, which not working on competitiveness. You see it in my graphs, you see it in my research, in the Teza. I look for it for years, but we have the most problem in Israel, that we have the culture of the Israeli culture is not leading motivations to even try to achieve the budgetary and the competitiveness, because the Ministry of the Education System institution budget the higher education institutions, so they don't need to try to move to do academic activity or to attract international students. This is the one side. The other side, I think that we need to do 4-point principle to do from the government, from the policy government. Okay, we need to improve the function of the institution, to improve it. We need to improve the abilities of the students. We need to improve the abilities of the teaching staff in the college training, because they can improve the quality of the human capital, which improve the economic capital human quality. Okay, and the last one, it's the labor first. We have problem with it. The professionality of the reducing over educations, and of course increasing the employer productivity in Israel. This is 4 main points that I analyzed in my thesis.
That you bear in mind when you formulate it. I've got it. Thank you very much. But actually, it would be better to put it must take more real steps.
Okay.
I would highly recommend
I will
not to be
take it to the future research.
Yes. If you publish these, then to put more real steps.
Real step. Okay.
Yeah, I think Professor Ziu, as a diplomat ambassador, would support me in this, that not to be too categorical, right?
I agree.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the question that appeared when I examined the thesis, in fact, and also very much connected with what you've told now about culture. So in subchapter 2.1, you have put such an idea that Israeli education system developed on 3 basic education cultures: the German, the British, and the American.
Yes.
Do you consider any impact of immigration from Eastern Europe and CIS region on education system of Israel, or it was not significant?
Of course, we learn from that.
It's about Romanian and Russian.
Yeah.
Because
Soviet period, Russian, Romanian, so actually it's a big region. Also Poland, Hungary, actually Eastern Europe, there are many countries there, and it was a lot of immigrants actually from
East of Europe.
From East of Europe and the CIS region in
From
general.
Russia, from Romania, and also from Moldova.
And Poland and Moldova and Ukraine,
Russians.
and actually all these regions.
I study in Teza that if we immigrate the student and bring and attract international students to Israel and from Israel outside and to other countries, it's improving the quality of the human capital, and it's improving the quality of the students. They are developed. The advanced industries that develop the attractive of the countries. So to your questions, I think that it's
blessing.
It's blessing to get international students all over the world to go to countries each other, because it's improving the quality of the study. I can say that, I think that Moldova must, for example, to strengthen the vocational education profession and to improve the STEAM knowledge here in Moldova. Okay, because it's also a weakness in Israel. We need to work on it. It's not considered that the OECD ignored against the Israeli methods and the result of the higher education. I think that all we in the in the current economy in the 21st century, we must to improve the quality of the human capital. We must to improve the STEAM, which call it, science, economic, math, and technologic education, but in the high level, because we need to attract the countries. So if the Russian students can come and go out and they change the students in all over the higher education system in the world, we have a lot of benefit from it.
So you consider not only exporting human capital, but also importing
information? Of course. In my research, in quantitative research, the students talk about it. When we ask them about that they want to study and go 3 years, 5 years outside from the country and learn 3 years in another country, and they get a lot of innovative approach and study which there's no in their country, and it's absolutely improving the quality of the capital human.
In my opinion, immigrants can change model of study of education, because they have to study over there if they are students. But I understand.
Yes,
I understand.
But, yes, I actually was
Depend of
thinking
government.
also about specialists already, brain drain. You see,
Yes,
what actually
look
happened. That in fact could
Moldova.
change
Look
the
what happened in
education
Moldova.
system.
It's an amazing process.
Depend of government, of Minister of Education.
You
If
see what happened?
They want to change something and to implement something from Moldova or from Russia or from it's one. If they will not do this, it will not be effect.
And the effect is the national effect to the national product and the.
But in fact, I know Israel. We have been several times. It's more closed country because it's a specific country with specific situation. This is the problem. But about education, I agree with you, because they can right now implement some newly process from education from another countries, from European Union or from Helsinki, Finland, or from because Finland
maybe
is
better that they have their own, in fact, the proper system. But I just wondered if actually specific of mentality or something was reflected from other countries. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's but
I don't talk about it. Singapore and Canada and Britain and United Kingdom. All the countries is you see the influence of the investment on the higher educations and the quality of the human capital and the national product and the advanced industry and the competitiveness of the country. You see in the graphs that there's and especially Canada. Canada is we have a lot to learn from Canada, because they are especially stringent in the international students.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank you very
concept of
much.
mobility actually it's very important and indeed increase competitiveness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I will ask another question according to the question that you asked until now. What steps do you think Israel have to do to improve the international ability of competitiveness of educational services? What Israel needs to do? You are talking about to improve the budget, and what else? Which steps?
Okay. First of all, to implementing the model. Okay. And budgetary change in the higher education. Okay. Changing the staff or the college training and implementing the FQM model.
Okay.
Again, the FQM model is create to environment of continuous learning and to improve the quality management and the business and the business establishment. So it's great for the public organizations and the business organizations, but I'm employing in the Minister of the Education in Israel. We implementing in the Minister of in the north of the Ministry of Education, and we see a lot of success because it's the model, it's varying the functions and the abilities of the organizations, and they support them with the key process and lead them for key performance.
Okay.
I think that there is a lot of benefit for the IFK model. I can speak about a main point. It's 4 points. First of all, it's improving the competitiveness of the organization. Mm-hmm. When you evaluate the performance and analyze them to other organizations in their field or in leader standard in their field, they're improving the quality and the competitiveness of the organization. The second one, it's innovative. When the organization is open to innovative process, critical events, it's improving the innovative of the organizations. It's also a successful model, okay, which did benchmarking and evaluating the performance. It's improving the performance of the model, and I think that what I can also it's focusing on the issues that need to be required to improvement. So they especially emphasize the customers of the organization. So it's improving the work process of the organization. And when you improve the work process, all the environments of the organization go through the excellent results.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Menian. Now, Mr. Professor CROTENCO will address.
In the summary, you write the the recommendation, the doc of innovation proposal that includes 4 principles.
Okay.
Concretizate, please, these 4 principles.
Okay.
These principles.
So, first of all, to improving the functional organizational professions. The second one is improving the ability of the students. The next one is abilities of the unemployer of the employer productivity, and to talk about the labor force. And the last one is to improving the abilities of the staff training college. When it's improving the capital human and the quality of the economic capital when we develop on the established industry and develop the national product of the countries and attract the countries to other countries. And this is 4 main steps that Israeli must do if they want to change the result of the economic.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mai sunt întrebări? No more questions. Thank you very much. Now, acum noi îl rugăm pe domnul secretar științific al Comisiei de Doctorat, domnul profesor CROTENCO, care ne aduce la cunoștință avizul Comisiei de îndrumare asupra tezei și lista obiecțiilor, sugestiilor și recomandărilor expuse studentului doctorat în cadrul ședinței de examinare pe cadrul tezei de doctor în Comisia de îndrumare. Poftim, domn profesor.
Mulțumesc. Национальной комиссии de doctorat. Noi avem avizul, da, Comisiei de îndrumare pentru fiecare observație este reviziunea observației. Total noi avem 5 observații și la 3 lista, la 3 pagini, noi avem reviziunea observațiilor. Toți membrii Comisiei de îndrumare, director Școlii Doctorale Vitalie Cazacu și 2 membri Comisiei de îndrumare și Conducător și cifre și doctorantă prezentare acest document. Dacă despre toate membrilor Comisiei de Doctorat, noi avem recenzie asupra tezei de doctorat și rezumatul lui domnul Țiu, aviz de teză de doctorat domnul Labanov, aviz 11 PhD teză Competitivitatea by LEVKOVICH doamna Șușcan, profesor Șușcan, și avizul Conducător științific, domnul CROTENCO, review of the PhD supervisor of the doctoral thesis, and we avem avizul din Israel, domnul Alan Limor. Также мы получили options on the abstract of Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, co-passport, of Greenberg, elite, director of the Risk Beyond Teach Training Center din Israel. Toate recenzia avizului, options положительные.
Sunt pozitive, da? Sunt pozitive.
Да, sunt pozitive, да, yes. Și, да, и все рекомендуют оценить по квалификации на работу на фортебине. Это то, что мы сейчас чем располагаем. Это одна из категорий фортебине. Это категория.
Ну, это потом.
Ну, я говорю, что это из 5 категорий. Это категория, значит, сверху вторая. Вторая категория сверху.
Bun, mulțumim mult. Întrebări la domnul secretar aveți?
Nu.
Mersi mult. Doamna, you have to answer. Studentul doctorant se pronunță pe marginea avizului Comisiei. About what's said right now, Mr. CROTENCO, which will be your opinion?
Do you know all recommendation of member of committee? You know?
The committee, no.
No. It's about Comisia de îndrumare, domnul Crotenco.
Comisia de îndrumare?
Comisia de îndrumare.
Comisia de îndrumare, da. Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
You agree with all of
Yes, I may agree, and I want to say thank you because all what you suggest me, I will take care in the future research, and it will help me in my research to continue in the future research. It's very important for me because I'm implementing my model and the IFQ model, and I need your opinion, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now, Mr. Crotenco, domnul Crotenco, conducător de doctorat, caracterizează calități personale a doctorantului. Vă rog, domnul Crotenco, domnul profesor.
Mulțumesc. Так, ну, я хочу сказать, что, во-первых, да, я представил соответствующий ревью в PhD супервайзеру за докторал Тезис, в которой я отметил, что она поступила к нам at the doctoral school visiting the Institute of International Relations Moldova in 2018. Past-time studies. На фригенце редусом. Их поступило тогда 32 человека. Вот, окончила, к сожалению, вот мы видим совсем немного. Scientific fields 5, social and economic science, scientific specialization of 5,521.02. In accordance with order number 19.
Персонали, домовые, ну, вот без Теза, ее персонал. Как вы с ней работали? На русском
да,
говорите?
Хорошо, да.
Значит, если есть на английском?
Да, хорошо. Значит, как мы, значит, в данном случае мы с ней работали. Работать было очень сложно, потому что, я говорю, что мы, значит, трижды нас переводили из одного учебного заведения в другое. Но, с другой стороны, за эти 4, даже получается сейчас 5 лет, хоть она и была готова с работы выходить в прошлом году, примерно даже чуть раньше, чем сейчас, она показала себя с очень хорошей стороны. Ну, сами посудите, 24 статьи. Вот. В авизе, здесь в ревью, здесь написано, значит, когда мы переходили, куда мы переходили, соответственно, где она публиковалась, сколько она, ну, опубликовала она 24 работы, участвовала в 18 конференциях, причем, если бы только, скажем, там в Молдове в каких-нибудь, или там какие-нибудь конференции, вот где-то там в Индии раз, ну, она, значит, и в Израиле, и в Румынии, то есть в Европейском Союзе, и у нас. И главное то, что она не остановилась, она продолжает работать, то, что я говорил, что в данном случае она подготовила еще, сейчас в издательстве 3 статьи еще подготовленные, отдана 1 круглый стол из International Participants и 1 международная конференция, кстати, в Молдове. Вот. В целом работа с ней была, я хочу сказать, очень интересна и очень, так скажем, качественно. Она стремилась, несмотря на те проблемы, которые возникали с этим колоссальным отсевом в их, значит, группе, она стремилась, она хотела, и она достигла этого результата. Да, конечно же, вот есть определенные, значит, вопросы, как в развитии, то, что сейчас здесь прозвучало на обсуждениях. Но я считаю, что она справилась с задачей в полном объеме.
Mersi mult.
Thank you very much.
Eu. Acum referențe oficiale, adică acum este membrii Comisiei. Vor, deci, se expun opinii deasupra deci, tezii, argumentează obiecțiile, sugestiile, dacă le au. Poftim. Cine dorește? Primul?
Я могу свое тоже сказать заключение.
Вы уже сказали.
Это как руководитель, а так как член комиссии.
Да, doamna profesor Lobanov.
Stimați colegi, membri ai Comisiei de Doctorat, stimate persoane care asistă, aș vrea să menționez că cercetătoarea, autorul tezei pe care o discutăm astăzi, deci doamna LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor a făcut o cercetare profundă, serioasă. Este un moment important că a observat legătura strânsă dintre dezvoltare tehnologică ca alternativă pentru capitalul uman și scopul angajatului ca factor principal de luare a deciziilor și de proces. Prin urmare, avem vitalitatea interdisciplinară a capitalului uman. În special, sunt competențe care vor fi dobândite prin serviciile și sistemele de învățământ și acestea vor confirma importanța individului și a capitalului uman. Aceste procese determină economiile naționale să fie cointeresate în capitalul uman, care este productiv și răspunde rapid exigențelor și are abilități și avantaje competitive față de ceilalți, inclusiv transmițând aceste avantaje și la nivel internațional. Sistemul de învățământ local din fiecare țară este integrat ideologic, în special învățământul terțiar, ceea ce include învățământul academic și deja formarea profesională. În ceea ce privește importanța cercetării efectuate, aș menționa că rezultatele acestei cercetări pot și sper că într-adevăr vor fi utilizate de factorii de decizie din instituțiile de învățământ superior și colegiile din Israel. Cercetătorul justifică utilizarea ideilor de cercetare pentru adaptarea la sistemele educaționale și din alte țări. Țările acestea au fost enumerate, dar și Republica Moldova. Aceste rezultate pot avea un impact pozitiv asupra considerațiilor de deschidere a educației în Israel, la tendințele de internaționalizare, la dezvoltarea relațiilor externe și cooperarea economică și comercială în domeniul capitalului uman. Factorul de originalitate și inovație științifică pe care o include teza se află și are menirea de a servi o bază pentru schimbarea strategic-perceptivă, în primul rând, a conducerii educaționale și politice, care este responsabilă de serviciile de educație din Israel, de competitivitate, internaționalizare și stabilirea de relații. Aceeași schimbare include și echipa de decizie și părțile cointeresate în problemele economice și sociale, în vederea promovării abilităților comerciale ale capitalului uman în Israel. Modelul teoretic propus în capitolul 4 și bazat pe modelul european de excelență organizațională EFICR va oferi suport la nivelul standardelor internaționale. Și un astfel de proces va promova serviciile educaționale spre internaționalizare și va dezvolta relațiile economice cu alte țări, asigurând și transparența organizațională deplină, dar și conduită politică, economică și culturală, care în prezent poate nu se află la un nivel de performanță dorit. Chiar și în statul Israel, cred că, deși noi cunoaștem că în ceea ce privește inovațiile, dezvoltarea start-up-urilor, Israelul este un stat lider. Și în ceea ce privește punerea lucrului științific, cercetărilor în general, în PIB. Iată Israelul, Coreea de Sud și alte țări, peste 4% din PIB. Cred că și Republica Moldova pe viitor va atinge așa rezultate frumoase, căci la moment cam departe. Aș vrea să menționez că teza este scrisă la un nivel calitativ înalt. Apreciez și procesul de redactare a capitolelor, concluziile și recomandările, mai ales partea finală a tezei. Claritatea informațiilor din cercetare constituie o componentă foarte importantă a procesului de cercetare desfășurat de doamna LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, căci această cercetare prezintă un proces în care elementele de bază ale tezei de doctorat, întrebările pe care le pune dumneavoastră, datele, perspectivele trasate sunt înțelese și îndeplinite. În general, claritatea informațiilor din studiul recenzat se referă la modul în care informațiile sunt prezentate în documentul respectiv, dar și este o combinație de metode suplimentare folosite în cadrul temei de cercetare. Au fost folosite surse veridice, reflectate în articole din ediții periodice și surse oficiale ale țărilor și reviste de specialitate. În timp ce analiza datele statistice ale țărilor, cercetătoarea a folosit surse informative a birourilor de statistică din mai multe țări, constatările OCDE, UNESCO, ale Băncii Mondiale și alte surse. Menționez că atunci când a analizat constatările, cercetătorul a ținut un dialog deschis cu abordare mai multor aspecte ale ideilor, opiniilor și informațiilor. Autorul tezei și-a menținut de asemenea obiectivitatea, fără nicio tendință de a distorsiona sau a schimba rezultatele cercetării. Lucrarea este redactată având o structură corectă și logică a capitolelor. În primul rând, se analizează aspectele teoretice ale subiectului de cercetare, fiind subliniate aspectele legate de competitivitate și internaționalizare în sistemele educaționale și dezvoltarea acestora. Apoi se analizează tendințele de dezvoltare a capitalului uman și legătura acestuia cu politica economică externă și stabilirea de relații internaționale și parteneriate economice și educaționale între țări. Apoi a fost efectuată o analiză și o revizuire academică cu privire la politică de servicii a sistemelor de învățământ sub aspectul competitivității internaționale. În continuare, cercetătorul prezintă importanța excelenței administrative și a conducerii naționale în țările europene pe baza modelului de excelență cunoscut, LEVKOVICH, care a fost adoptat și în sistemele izraeliene. Al doilea capitol tratează procesul metodologic al tezei, în care cercetătoarea prezintă procesul respectiv și justifică fiecare etapă. Al treilea capitol se concentrează pe analiza situației actuale din Israel, cartografia competitivității din Israel și efectelor sale academice. Sunt prezentate exemple de organizații educaționale și servicii educaționale, cum ar fi districtul nord al Ministerului Educației, care încearcă să îmbunătățească capitalul uman pentru a crește nivelul de productivitate al factorului uman în sistemele de învățământ. Cercetătorul prezintă și mai multe probleme în procesul de formare a profesorilor din Israel, efectuând o cercetare cantitativă cu implicarea a 150 de studenți care confirmă lipsa sau un nivel mai redus de competitivitate și internaționalizare în conținutul pedagogic al procesului de formare ca lideri și promotori în capitalul uman din Israel. Al patrulea capitol se concentrează în principal pe soluțiile și cerințele pentru rezolvarea problemei stabilite. Cercetătoarea a prezentat angajarea profesioniștilor din domeniul medical, IT, profesiilor din domeniile energetice și așa mai departe. Sunt prezentate diverse modele aplicate deja în țările dezvoltate, care transformă competiția dintre instituțiile de învățământ superior într-un mecanism de export de capital uman de înaltă calitate. Totodată, cercetătoarea prezintă și explicația și prețul bugetului desemnare și structura organizatorică necesară. Toate datorită proceselor de lucru structurate ale modelului european de excelență elaborat și prezentat. Nu există nicio îndoială că aceste idei pot fi ajustate și pentru alte țări, inclusiv și Republica Moldova. Ultima parte a capitolului 4 prezintă modele aplicate pentru fiecare dintre acțiunile organizaționale necesare unei schimbări conceptuale și structurale, menite să îmbunătățească sistemul educațional și caracteristicile acestuia. Sunt prezentate modelele 4.11, 4.12 și 4.13, care reflectă și inovația organizațională bazată pe reforme structurale, în principal procese intraorganizaționale. Conform autorului, ele vor asigura o standardizare inovatoare și benefică pentru dezvoltarea generală a capitalului uman din Israel. Vă menționez că am constatat respectarea strictă a procedurilor în conformitate cu ghidul ANACEC. Deci toate momentele tehnice de redactare sunt respectate. În ceea ce privește calitatea concluziilor și recomandărilor, ele sunt formulate destul de bine și sper că, într-adevăr, vor permite implementarea ideilor tezei de către guvern, de către structurile de resort. Deci aceste recomandări prezintă o abordare sistemică în care cercetătorul explică detaliat pașii de soluții necesare implementării. Toate concluziile permit o viziune largă asupra cerințelor prezente, dar și viitoare, precum și deschiderea instituției la schimbările inevitabile, inclusiv legate de internaționalizare. Aș avea și o sugestie pe viitor, de exemplu, trasarea și prezentarea perspectivelor naționale privind formarea liderilor de servicii de educație la nivel de profesori, directori de instituții și așa mai departe. Dar asta pe viitor. Ca concluzie, teza de doctorat a doamnei LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor inovează și termeni, și teorii, și conținuturi, ceea ce permite o cercetare extinsă a problemelor economice și instituționale specifice secolului al XXI-lea. Cercetătorul s-a asigurat și a depus efort pentru ca lucrarea să prezinte într-un mod unic, pragmatic și interesant beneficiile naționale ale statului Israel, dacă acesta va dezvolta capitalul uman și își va deschide sistemul de învățământ către internaționalizare și competitivitate internă și externă. În final, aș menționa că teza de doctorat Competitivitatea serviciilor educaționale pe piețele internaționale, experiența izraeliană în diferite sectoare, reprezintă o cercetare actuală, originală, conține noutate științifică, are semnificație teoretică și valoare aplicativă. Teza corespunde cerințelor ANACEC, iar autorul, doamna LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, merită conferirea gradului științific de doctor în științe economice la specialitatea 521.02, Economie mondială, relații economice internaționale, cu calificativul de evaluare foarte bine. Mulțumesc pentru atenție.
Vă mulțumesc și eu. Poftim cine încă dorește. Doamna profesoare Șișcanda.
Stimate domnul președinte, stimate domnul secretar, stimați colegi, candidatul și numărul de asistență. So, let me to present you the review on the PhD thesis elaborated by LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor on the topic competitiveness of education services in international markets, Israeli experience in various sectors. Having examined in depth the doctoral thesis in economic sciences elaborated by Mrs. LEVKOVICH, I'm honored to express my opinion on it based on criteria such the actuality of the research, methodological approach, and analysis of findings, research insights, reliability of the sources used, and those criteria that are established by ANACEM. So I will be quite brief because the details are exposed in the review. So, nu o să dau o citire, deci tot o aviz, dar mă opresc pe punctele cele mai importante, fiindcă toate detaliile sunt expuse.
Ok, da.
Ok, dacă îmi permiteți. So, speaking about the actuality of the analysis of the research and the topic, I would like to mention that the competitiveness of the countries in the contemporary world economy very much depends on the quality of their education systems, and the latter allows the countries to combat poverty and also use their human capital for their societal well-being. So those ideas, in fact, they were very much elaborated and exposed in the thesis, and in fact, this idea make it possible to find these competitiveness ways for Israel and also recommendations for Moldova, and taking into account that Israel, in fact, integrating in the global economy, but Moldova also is on the way. The thesis is highly actual and important. So that's importance also emphasizes by the fact that the researcher attributes great weight to the importance of the study and products, explaining that findings can definitely leverage higher education in Israel and other countries, Moldova included, that will seek to strengthen the economic relations between them through the process of export and import of human capital. Examining the research aims and objectives, I would like to say that research aim, as it is formulated by Mrs. LEVKOVICH, is to proposing to higher education services in Israel, especially the teacher training centers and lecturers, an applicable strategic program to leverage the competitive abilities of the institutes. This aim, it was in fact structured and developed a number of objectives, so they are also mentioned here and analyzed, and in general I would like to say that objectives and the aim, they have successfully been achieved. Examining the structure and composition, I would like to say that from the point of view of this research, the thesis is coherent and it presents a logical process through its structure, and it also structured according to the requirements of ANACEM and the logic suggested of the research. Speaking about methodology, I would like to say that Mrs. LEVKOVICH examined and presented in-depth analysis of the diverse sources of professional literature in different languages, and she examined the modern economic theory and also different educational models, and make a certain comparative analysis of those educational models that in fact is highly welcomed, and the research represents in fact interdisciplinary research, so combining economic management and pedagogical didactic approaches. So what also is valuable here in the thesis and research that I found is that the researcher used a number of and examined and analyzed number of sources, official documentation, Israeli Knesset documents, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Economy, Council for Higher Education, the Planning and Budgetary Commission of the Ministry of Education, Bank of Israel, and Central Bureau of Statistics, as well as a number of statistical databases of other countries that were analyzed. Here, like USA, Canada, Great Britain, Republic of Moldova, and other countries. So, Minister LEVKOVICH also used a number of approaches, formal logic approach with analysis, synthesis, induction, and deduction. And as I have found a special point, it was inductive method with elaboration of the questionnaire that is attached to the annex, and 150 respondents were interviewed, and those empirical results, they present a special interest and added value to the thesis that also is very welcomed and represent, in fact, objective, authentic, and up-to-date primary data. I won't actually dwell on the analysis of each chapter. So here, actually, in the review, it is written in detail. Just I would like to say that, in fact, I consider it's a very good idea to implement and use that EFQM European Excellence model and develop your own model that represent innovation of your research in this case. And also why I consider that it's good to use this model, because the European Union is one of the global players, and Israel pretending and also being in fact among global players alongside with USA and these countries, that's in fact a very good idea to use that benchmarking and develop it actually in your own way. That especially I consider is of high importance here. And analyzing conclusions and recommendations. So here I would like to say that conclusions, in fact, organically proceed from the analysis and from the structure of the thesis, and recommendations are based on the research done and also quite realistic, and they are targeted, and that's also a very good idea that recommendations are targeted for the specific ministries, specific institutions to be further implemented. And that was also good, the attempt to make recommendations for Moldova, so to make this bridge between the countries. And when speaking about writing style or clarity and information, I would like to say that in general the writing style illustrates an appropriate academic style and ethical use of entire writing process. So that is an integral and so using academic integrity approach to the thesis. The correctness of scientific apparatus and bibliographic descriptions, so reliability of information sources is a critical and essential issue in any study, and in fact a researcher has shown that the sources are valid, especially using official data, so they are not vague, they are reliable. And that make, in fact, the research to be scientific proved for conclusions and recommendations. With technical visa and formal aspect, thesis in structure includes all the parts required by National Guide of Higher Education of the Republic of Moldova, as far as the thesis is defended here. And speaking about remarks, observations, recommendations, so I guess that in future the work will be published. So in such a way I have drawn the attention of the researcher to some technical issues that it would be good to develop, like for example to precise the title of the table 1.4. and I have suggested, so it is written all variables as a holistic process, so it would be good all variables of a teacher quality training as a holistic process. It would be good in list of abbreviation to use all abbreviations used in the thesis. Think, for example, radar was not reflected. There are some other abbreviations, so the list should be completed here. In the figure 3.5, you have used a number of years, like for example, 217-18, 218-19, 19-20. But when you come up to 20, you put 21-20. So the logic changed. Okay, so just to follow the logic, 20-21. So when figure 3.13, so I think that was a technical issue that should be in fact eliminated because it was mentioned pie chart following in point 12. But there is no pie chart there, so it should be checked in that case, and because it was mentioned, but it is not. And then point 13 contains data that does not correspond to the text. Okay, so I think that when it was in fact for printing, something maybe incompatibility of the programs when you printed the text, in fact entailed the situation that there was some mess in that fragment. Okay, so please check page 130, check for the final version that it would be in fact cleared up. Page 166 mentioned figure 4.10, but figure follows 4.13. So these are some technical issues, but these observations do not diminish the theoretical importance and applicative value of the thesis, and being mostly of technical nature, they can probably be eliminated. In conclusion, I would like to sustain that the thesis entitled Competitiveness of Education Services in the International Markets, Israeli Experience in Various Sectors, elaborated by Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, is a comprehensive research which contains the original contents and is valuable by its theoretical findings and applicative approach and recommendations, corresponds to the requirements for such type of scientific research in the Republic of Moldova, and may be defended for a PhD degree in the field of specialization 521.02, World Economy, International Economic Relations. According to the suggested criteria, the grade for the work is very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your research and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now,
Professor Men.
my review. I would like to confirm that I have read the doctoral study of my colleagues, Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, supervisor and a lecturer in the Ministry of Education. The thesis is competitiveness in education services in the international markets, Israeli experience in various sectors. The thesis was read after compilation in May 2023. The general impression of the subject relevance to science, their education system is instinctive and creative, reflecting human nature for conscious innovation. In the education world, there is tension between pressures to expand and access higher education and enrich human capital, global competition for research quality, the need for public personal funding due to higher education explanation. The balance between higher education as a public product and private product, the benefit consideration in grading discovery fields, the relationship between countries and their academic institutes has been react due to public recognition of higher education's process in the growth engine. The terms and the economics and the public for benefit from the knowledge the research in the academia and in increase in the higher education part as a private product, the academic product, communalization and the university depends on public funding. The process in the institute reflects a tension between the economic approach and social approach or between the monolithic approach and a pluralistic approach, which may describe an argument between the approach that maintains a monopoly of higher education for a minority group and pressure for democrats' higher education. This research of Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan tries to present solutions based on a deep study of terms, process, and theories, and on the other hand, also a study of models from other countries. In my opinion, the current research deals with one of the main problems regarding the competition between higher education institutes for local and international students and the internationally issue. In addition, the thesis deals with the designing human capital in Israel for experts in order to build international economic relations with the countries surrounding the state of Israel. The scientific contribution of the current research is that for the first time a researcher proposed sustainable solution for developing human capital in Israel and passing the competitiveness dimension of higher education, a model that may develop a local high-quality human capital in the other end, and the other end is a model that may be implemented in other countries, like Moldova as a part of an economic international relation. The scientific innovation in the current research refers to the fact that for the first time, the research Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan offered an appropriate and in a deep reference to the required which may copying the state of Israel as to coping with the complex training process of human capital, especially in higher education institutes and the teacher training centers. The researcher proposed several models, and the main one is the European model of the excellence EFQM, which enables the development of human capital both as a local production factor and as an option for exporting human capital to the other countries. This innovative development will directly contribute to the establishment of economic international relation for Israel and will strengthen its global political economic position. Current of the scientific apparatus and the bibliographic description. The information presented in the scientific apparatus is based on reliable sources, which are usually associated with the national website of countries and/or world organizations such as OECD, UNESCO, the World Bank, and the countries' statistical websites like Moldova and Israeli, including the Republic of the Moldova. The bibliographic descriptions of sources are always presented at the beginning of the sentence, or in the cases where explanation of opinion of some sources indicated. On exception, when it is required to present a page number, the researcher did so to the thesis. The bibliographic sources include books, articles, studies, statistical reports of countries, monographs, and very little internet presses. In addition, information sites has access for research presenting a proven of solid information that does not necessarily express an opinion, but rather reinforces exciting trends. The structure of the thesis and the chapters. The thesis consists of 4 chapters of high quality and professional style. The great statistical data is from the national information sites, and therefore there is no based by researcher way of thought. The text is quality language and the poignant of but objective. The chapters are well structured and the information current and describes the process of creating several interdisciplinary models, formulating comprehensive approach for solving the research problem. I will just tell about, I think, the most important of the analysis of the chapter, so let's jump to the fourth chapter. Reading the last chapter, I have found the researchers mainly focus on the required solution for research problem and basic recommendation for improving the competitiveness in education services in Israel. The beginning of the chapter reviews examples of educational economic policies from other countries that successfully deal with the issues similar of the state of Israel. The researcher deals the progress that these countries achieved extremely high returns in the economic, civil society, culture, and high of international status in the academic space. Analyzing their progress and strategic policies, it can be seen that models of quality management and organizational excellence were implemented while adhering the organization regulation and the control process. The analysis of the products and the process in Moldova was especially emphasized since, like the state of Israel, it faces a similar problems of economic educational policy, which should be translated into economic products and internationality of higher education, especially establishing international relations with neighboring countries. Quality of the research conclusion and recommendation, I found that the researcher has identified the main factors that contribute the research problem solution and presents a series of conclusion interesting the data, the formulating and the conclusion focus on the thesis additional value, not only details the data. The research conclusions are qualitative and present unique analytical level that the higher education world in Israel and other countries would be happy to hear about it. The following recommendations are concluded from the research finding, and it was worthy of evaluation and learning. One, a developing training course in higher education in the innovative suggestion that includes several principles, raising the abilities of the graduating student, professionalization process of Israeli manpower, especially reduce the excess education phenomenon, and the other end, raising the employees' productivity that the researchers are talking about in their presentation, improving teaching staff abilities and diversity in the aspects of competitiveness and openness to internationality, foreign relation and economy, improving the financial ability of higher education institute, also changing the budgeting policy of institutes based on the innovative model that deals education services to compete in the education services in other countries, increasing the internationality competent and the developing international economic relation. All of these are supposed to develop Israeli economic ability and domestic product. The last benefit of this conclusion are the recommendation to develop competitiveness of educational services in Israel by fundamentally changing the organizational culture in the academic institutes. I agree with the researcher that recommendation to implement the international European EFQM model, excellent model, and adapt it to the characters of the complex in the academic establishment in Israel. It is necessary, as I saw in the Teza figure 4.9 showed the recommendation list for strengthening, emphasizing, reducing, and the integrating issue and regulatory process with the academic establishment. For conclusion, I read Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan research, and I confirm that the work was conducted independently and extensively, conceptually, and particularly covering the issue of national coping with the higher education competitiveness. Its characters, transformation, and limitation. The researcher emphasizes possible keys to success intelligently and gently using statistical findings, presenting applicable solution for other countries, translating work situation to improve the system in Moldova, and deeply referring the challenge in solving the problem in Israel. After reading the thesis, I recommended approving the research of Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan associated with the specialization 52102 World Economy International Economic Relation, and asked for those questions. I confirm that the quality of Mrs. LEVKOVICH Lavan research suitable to receiving PhD degree, and I grant the grade very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dacă îmi dați voie să mai spun și eu.
Da.
Stimați membri a Comisiei, onorată asistență, noutatea, să începem cu noutatea și originalitatea tezei, deci a doamnei LEVKOVICH, Competitiveness of Education Services in the International Market, Israel Experience in Various Sectors. Aș vrea să menționez faptul că economia secolului 21 trece prin modificări și schimbări similar proceselor și tendințelor din perioadele anterioare. Este afectată și de fenomene economico-sociale și educaționale la nivel mondial. Efectele proceselor globale și dezvoltarea accelerată a tehnologiei, promovarea paradigmelor inovatoare privind necesitatea capitalului uman și întărirea poziției sale de control în rândul factorilor de decizie care în ultimii ani au susținut factorii mecanici de producție, industrie. Acum, deci, menționăm legătura strânsă între ritmul dezvoltării tehnologice ca alternativă la capitalul uman față de baza vitalității, scopului și nivelul productivității angajaților ca factor de promovare a economiei și a calității vieții. Pentru a promova capitalul uman în țară, factori de decizii trebuie să construiască un sistem de învățământ bazat pe un serviciu educațional de calitate, care își stabilește ca scop factorul de competitivitate, care va contribui la schimb de elevi și profesori, cercetători la nivel internațional. În plus, competitivitatea va întări atragerea învățământului superior în țară și, ca urmare, deci se va organiza schimb, deci ceea ce am menționat eu, și în Israel de studenți, cercetători și echipe academice care vor promova dezvoltarea relațiilor economice și internaționale între țări. Astfel, noutatea științifică a cercetării este bazată pe abordarea cuprinzătoare și aprofundată care tratează problema internaționalizării excelenței organizaționale a instituțiilor de învățământ superior din Israel, în comparație cu alte țări în lume, din punct de vedere economic și administrativ, și cu referire în special la factorul de internaționalizare, care în prezent nu prea este dezvoltat în Israel. Metodologia cercetării este clară, complexă și corectă. Disertația folosește atât metode de cercetare teoretică cât și empirică. Autorul a folosit metode de comparare, analiză și sinteză a datelor, prezentarea deci, grafică, analiza datelor statistice și a comparat tendințele globale în diferite perioade de până la 10 ani și din diferite țări. Autoarea a folosit metodele inductive și deductive în cercetare, atât separat cât și în combinație. Conform abordării cercetătoare, a formulat o problemă de cercetare din care a format întrebările, iar apoi, prin analiza observațiilor și a produsului cercetării, cantitative și calitative, cercetătoarea a elaborat modelele care au fost prezentate în lucrare. Ea a folosit de asemenea metoda de cercetare deductivă pentru a examina teoriile și a explica termenii pentru a verifica modelul de gândire. Abordarea deductivă utilizată în principal în cercetarea cantitativă. Autorul a distribuit un chestionar de sondaj către 150 de participanți care deci au răspuns la acest sondaj. Și deci practic pentru a avea informații obiective, autentice și actualizate care ce se întâmplă astăzi în țară. Valoarea tezei derivă din stabilirea unui model de cunoaștere teoretic și empiric privind tema excelenței organizaționale. Dezvoltarea capitalului uman, competitivitatea și naționalizarea serviciilor de învățământ în cadrul instituțiilor de învățământ superior, cu accent pe colegiile de formare a profesorilor. Cercetările, propunerile și concluziile tezei pot servi instituțiilor și factorilor de decizii din Israel, cum ar fi Ministerul Educației, Consiliul Național pentru Învățământ Superior, administrațiile universităților și colegiilor academice, primăriile, instituțiile academice și unitățile economice din Israel. Importanța cercetării constă în faptul că rezultatele acestea vor fi utilizate de diferiți factori de decizie din sistemul de învățământ superior. După cum am menționat, colegiile didactice din Israel și pot fi potrivite și pentru sistemul de învățământ din alte țări. Rezultatul cercetării va servi cercetătorilor în activitatea sa la Colegiul de Formare a Cadrelor Didactice a Ministerului Educației, ca lider al unui program național de formare a cadrelor didactice a secolului 21. Rezultatele cercetării pot avea un impact pozitiv asupra consideratului privind deschiderea educației în Israel către tendințele de internaționalizare. Ceea ce, cum a menționat astăzi doamna doctorant, nu prea au fost implementate la cel mai înalt nivel. Dezvoltarea relațiilor externe și cooperarea economică și comercială a capitalului uman. Toate acestea pot crea o mișcare de reforme necesare pentru a ridica nivelul de competitivitate a învățământului superior din Israel. Structura tezei este echilibrată și logică, conține toate elementele recomandate. Teza include 16 tabele, 31 de figuri, 9 anexe, 159 pagini. Tabele și figurile sunt actuale și relevante, după cum am văzut noi și în prezentarea astăzi. Bibliografia cuprinde 244 de surse în engleză, română, ebraică și rusă, inclusiv publicații științifice ale autorului tezei de doctorat. Concluzii și recomandările generale sunt motivate și subliniază contribuția personală a autorului. Anexele sunt relevante și completează textul principal. Cercetarea este prezentată într-un stil științific, consistent, ușor de înțeles. Limbajul folosit este corect din punct de vedere stilistic și gramatical. Aparatul tehnic, legături, note, abrevieri, este standardizat. Referințele bibliografice din textul tezei sunt redactate în conformitate cu standardele, cu cerințele de astăzi. La teză sunt atașate certificatele de implementare care demonstrează valoarea practică a rezultatelor cercetării doctorante. Autorul respectă standardele deontologice, etice și profesionale. Principalele rezultate ale tezei au fost, după cum s-a menționat, prezentate de autorul tezei de doctorat, 24 de articole. În concluzie, teza de doctor în științe economice, competitivitatea serviciilor educaționale pe piețele internaționale, experiența israeliană în diverse sectoare, elaborată de doamna LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, reprezintă o cercetare actuală, originală, conține noutate științifică, are semnificație teoretică și valoare aplicativă. Lucrarea corespunde cerințelor ANACEC, înaintate față de tezele de doctorat, iar autoarea, doamna LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, merită conferirea gradului științific de doctor în științe economice la specialitatea 52102, Economie mondială, relații economice internaționale în Republica Moldova și de doctor în științe economice a Israelului. Acum dorește și domnul conducător științific, domnul profesor CROTENCO, să spună ceva. Poftim.
Mulțumesc.
Hai să rugăm doamna șefă de oprit condiționare. Dacă știi cineva.
Конечно.
Da, poftim.
Stimați membri Comisiei de Doctorale, onorate
Asistență.
Теза Limor Левкович, она очень актуальна в современном Израиле. Дело в том, что в Израиле в значительной степени далеко продвинулись продвинулись инновационные технологии в образовательных структурах, и такие понятия, как, скажем, менеджмент образования, маркетинг образовательной системы, у них, у всех на слуху. Тем более, что в Израиле очень сложное, но если говорить и о высшем образовании, и о именно образовании высшем в сфере педагогической, достаточно сложная ситуация. Есть экспорт. Экспорт человеческих ресурсов, трудовых ресурсов, высококвалифицированного персонала. Мы год назад, в декабре прошлого года, слушали вот эти цифры и знаем из исследований господина Алмазви о том, что экспорт человеческих ресурсов, высококвалифицированных специалистов, например, в Соединенные Штаты Америки, достаточно серьезная проблема. Есть импорт, но есть и сама структура. Есть сама структура человеческих ресурсов Израиля. С одной стороны, мы говорим, это арабская часть населения, она достаточно разнородна, сунниты, шииты, друзы, друзы вообще имеют, служат в израильской армии, даже есть генерал, друз в израильской армии, казалось бы, араб. С другой стороны, мы говорим христиане, те, кто были в Иерусалиме, были в храме, видели, да, три христианские религии, вот они все в одном храме. И израильская, собственно, среда с разными взглядами, от крайне правых до крайне левых. Мы видим это сегодня по демонстрациям, которые происходят в Тель-Авиве, в Иерусалиме. Высочайший уровень либерализации, в том числе в образовательной системе, которая, в общем-то, потому и Болонский процесс у них он не прижился в той степени, в какой, скажем, в той же самой мы говорили по Финляндии. И готовить кадры педагогов очень сложно в условиях Израиля. Но Лимор, она выбрала целью своего исследования именно изучение предложения услуг высшего образования в Израиле с акцентом на центры подготовки педагогов. И здесь очень важно то, что это в том числе и маркетинг, это в том числе и влияние искусственного интеллекта. Когда нам здесь говорят, что искусственный интеллект это только в одном, значит, в госсекторе, мы видим, что творится с дистанционным обучением, и место и роль педагога, как ее пытаются свести до уровня, значит, вы нам лекции сдайте, и вот он будет, значит, мы ее запишем, и будем ее прокручивать, значит, преподавать. Но есть большие проблемы с подготовкой педагогов для современной, завтрашней, высшей, для школы. Даже не высшей, а просто школы. И здесь вот потребность в новой маркетинговой педагогике. Кого мы должны готовить? Мы говорим, будем готовить, как готовили. Но мы знаем, что, скажем, банки, в одном только Тинькове 30 миллионов сегодня, 30 миллионов, и это не крупнейший банк, скажем, там Российской Федерации, значит, клиентов по всему миру, и полностью отсутствует офис. Офисов у него нет, у него есть только центральный офис. Банковская сфера полностью умирает в условиях искусственного интеллекта.
Не умирает, а переходит в другом...
Ну да, где мы уже с ними работать не будем, вот, где формируется, а мы, очевидно, в самое ближайшее время в Молдове с этим столкнемся, когда у нас будет цифровой лей, когда у нас мы и так уже, видите, объявили сейчас, да, уже первый прошел этап, все, деньги менять ты не можешь. Иди запиши свою фамилию, имя, отчество, предъяви паспорт, и только тогда. Вот. Переход на цифровизацию для нас будет очень жесткий. Так вот, они это там поняли, и они это там стали делать, и они это стали менять образовательную систему. И заслуга Лимор в том, что она это попыталась не просто увидеть, понять, но и представить в Министерство образования Израиля, в, значит, структуры, которые занимаются управлением образовательный процесс, как он называется, управлением образовательным процессом в Израиле, и, соответственно, высшие учебные заведения и вообще в организационные структуры, потому что мы знаем, что, скажем, у них вузы создаются в том числе при муниципалитетах. Municipality have university, have college. Yes. Вот. И это достаточно такая очень либеральная среда, где как раз конкурентоспособность образовательных услуг, конкурентоспособность внутри Израиля, конкурентоспособность на международных рынках крайне важна. И хочу сказать, что Лимор поставила очень такую цель своего исследования – изучить предложение услуг, акцент на центры подготовки именно педагогов, предложить концепцию и дорожную карту, современный подход реализации прикладного стратегического плана по усилению конкурентоспособности учебных заведений Израиля. Она представила определенный научный вызов современным исследованиям, которая заключается в том, что в нем дается попытка найти управленческую, экономическую и национальную модель. Национальную модель. Не сравнительный менеджмент в нашем понимании, национальная израильская образовательная модель. Нет, а национальная экономическая, национальная управленческая, в зависимости от того огромного количества национальностей и подходов. Людей из разных, как вот сегодня вы говорили, да, профессор Шишкан говорил о том, что да, есть восточное, европейское, приезжают люди туда со своим языком, со своими знаниями, со своими дипломами и так далее. И она вот это вот национальную вне нашего традиционного подхода сравнительного менеджмента модель вывела. И это очень интересное само по себе представление. И важно то, что мы это видим, это слышат. Это слышат и ее выступления на конференциях в Израиле, и, соответственно, те, значит, отзывы, которые, в общем-то, они существуют, они есть. Научная новизна проистекает из комплексного и глубокого подхода. Вот, теоретическая значимость и ценность диссертации именно в попытках создания модели теоретических, эмпирических знаний сегодняшнего дня. Совершенствование системы, развитие человеческого капитала, организационного совершенствования системы. Потому что нынешняя система, они говорят, она не совсем срабатывает, и она противоречит, скажем, например, Болонскому процессу. Не полностью, но тем не менее противоречия определенные есть. Повышение конкурентоспособности образовательных услуг. И это направлено как на экспорт, так и на импорт. Это направлено и на экспорт, значит, высококвалифицированных кадров, так и на импорт, привлечение к высококвалифицированным, значит, услугам образовательным в Израиль людей из других стран. Есть свои проблемы, конечно, скажем, там языковые проблемы. Да, арабский у них есть из там, Иордании обучающиеся, из Ливана, ну, про Сирию не говорим, но там тоже есть. Вот. Но, значит, и импорт из других стран, вне израильской или, скажем, арабской среды. Хотя это достаточно сложно. Результаты диссертационного представлены в государственные учреждения Израиля, вот, и в частности Министерство образования, колледж, вот, Шаананский. И есть положительные отзывы от педагогических кадров страны. И в заключение я хотел бы сформулировать свою позицию. Значит, summarizing all of the above, the thesis LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor correspond of the requirements of the National Agency for Quality Assurance in Education and Research on Czech and regulation of State University of Moldova. For such type of scientific research in the Republic of Moldova, and deserved the degree PhD in economic science specialization 521.02 World Economic, International Economic Relations. The grade of the works, of my opinion, is very good.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Now you have to answer with some proposals, da? Să zicem așa, da? Poți câteva propuneri, ceva, dumneavoastră sunteți de acord. You agree with this what said now the member of the commission?
Okay, I want to thank to all of you, and especially for member of the committee that come and suggest me from your opinion and your research method. I'm very appreciative and take it to my future research. And I wrote when you spoke on my Teza and on my research, I wrote few important things that you taught me, and I am very happy that you get this prestige, and I'm very excited, and I want to thank you really from my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ok, acum trebuie să votăm următoarea procedură. Deci rămânem numai membrii comisiei.
Здесь foarte bine. Foarte bine вот тут. Elaborată teza, да, обретать квалификацию foarte bine. У меня здесь есть. Я еще просто не вписал сюда. Да. Foarte bine, pro и contra.
Procesul verbal numărul 2 a ședinței Comisiei de Doctorat privind conferirea titlului de doctor și atribuirea calitativului tezei de doctor, data 22/08/23, la ședință au fost prezenți 5 membri. Comisia de doctorat în următoarea componență: ța.U. Nicolae, subsemnatul, domnul profesor CROTENCO Iuri, doamna profesor LOBANOV Natalia, doamna profesor Șișcan Zorina, doamna profesor Menin Alon. Au evaluat teza de doctor în științe economice cu titlul Competitiveness of Education, Services in the International Market, Israel Experience in various sectors, elaborată de doctoranta LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, și a constatat: susținerea publică a fost organizată conform prevederilor regulamentare și a întrunit toate elementele stipulate în regulamentul instituțional privind organizarea și desfășurarea susținerii publice a tezelor de doctorat. Membrii Comisiei de Doctorat au evaluat teza și câte puncte acolo? Teza și-au atribuit calitativul foarte bine. Foarte bine. Aici trebuie pus teza, cred. Membrii Comisiei de Doctorat au votat conferirea titlului de doctor în științe economice, autorul tezei LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, după cum urmează: pro 5 contra 0. În temeiul acestora, Comisia de Doctorat a decis a atribui calificativul de foarte bine tezei de doctor în științe economice cu titlul Competitiveness of Education Services in the International Market, Israel Experience in various sectors, elaborată de LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor, și a conferit titlul de doctor în științe economice doamnei LEVKOVICH Lavan Limor. Trebuie acum să votăm pentru...
Da.
Cine este pentru a vota procesul verbal numărul 2, rog să votăm. Da, mulțumesc. Aici, asta a fost ultimul punct din ședința noastră de astăzi. Cuvânt. Noi, în primul rând, vă felicităm. Congratulations. Și cuvânt de mulțumire din partea doctorandului. Poftim.
Thank you very much to all of you and to all of you and one each. Thank you very much. Professor Tzel, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Professor Iuri CROTENCO, my advisor, thank you very much. Professor Menin, thank you very much.